Ani Bojo Kwekwe. It's Catherine here at Moonstarlodge in Central Ontario, bringing you Indigenous perspectives on tarot and all forms of divination. And this week, the video covers the period from October 3rd to October 9th. So basically, it's up to and including Thanksgiving weekend. Excuse me. For the third weekly video in a row, I'm using a grouping of decks that seem to speak to me as a group or a gestalt. So this is the last of the three videos. I'm using the Brotherhood of Light Egyptian Tarot, the more modern version of this tarot. I'm using the Magdalene Oracle by Toni Carmine Salerno. I'm using the Secret Language of Light by Denise Jarvie. My apologies, Denise Jarvie. A beautiful deck. I'm using the Peace Oracle, again, Toni Carmine Salerno. I'm using the Tarot of Light by both Denise Jarvie and Toni Carmine Salerno. You may be picking up a theme here. The Divine Feminine by Megan Watterson, featuring goddesses, and that's Mary Magdalene, and we're using the Magdalene Oracle. The Shaman's Dream, which I have used many times before. And finally, Stacey DeMarco's Divine Animal Oracle. Some of these are brand new to me, like in the sense that I've not used them in these weekly readings at all, as I've mentioned in the previous two. I'm very deeply impacted by Toni Carmine Salerno's recent work with Denise Jarvie. So let's go to the cards, Brian. Here are the Tarot of Light. So these are the 7 tarot. This is the Peace Oracle. This is the Denise Jarvie Oracle of Light, the Shaman's Dream. This is the Divine Goddesses. This is the Egyptian Tarot. This one is the Magdalene, and this one is Stacey DeMarco's Divine Animals. So here are some extraordinary cards. As always, I'm going to read the tarot first and then pull the messages of the oracle into the reading. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of 7 cards are major arcanum cards. So that should put you on alert right away. We start with the Star, hopes and dreams and intuition. So this is our significator card, and this talks about looking at what we want in life. What is the story of the rest of our life? What are we shaking up and changing? The card following it is the Universe. It's expansion. It is the 21st card in the major arcanum. And the Fool is always both the beginning and the end. But it's the end of a cycle, and we're expanding. Whatever we've learned, the expansion and growth is taking us on a new level of journey. This is the Strength card. What's interesting is this is the Justice card, which is sometimes in the same. This is number 8 and this is number 8. And in tarot decks, they got switched by weight. But it's interesting, they're both in that position. The Force is strength. So we have strength, we need to find the strength. We're manifesting hopes and dreams to end a cycle and expand us through our karmic growth. We have and we need as much strength as possible because we have the awakening. The awakening is formerly the judgment card. In this deck, it's emergence. It's the Ankh. It's the sacred eye of the pineal gland. It's pyramids here. This is ancient knowledge. We are emerging. Here's that star again. We are emerging to something that isn't just a new job down the street at a different bakery, or no longer driving school bus. This is way past that kind of thing. This is a decision-making time for the rest of your life. This card is the Two of Trees. Now, trees also represent love, but there's the Ankh again. Here's the Ankh. Amazing cross symbology here. So trees represent love, the intertwining of the Two of Trees. Trees are flexibility, and so it's balancing and juggling and needing to be. Oh, and here's the eye. Yes, yes. The eye of Horus. So this is needing to be balanced and flexible as you make the changes that bring you to this new emergent life. The Ten of Hearts, which is the Ten of Cups in this deck, brings the moon into it. We've got the sun. We now have the moon. This is culmination. So you will have everything you need intuitively and emotionally, all sewn up by the time you get to this point. And finally, we have the turnaround. This is a tree, again, which represents love, but it's from the point of revolution. It's a shake-up. It's a shake-up. It's a new perspective. It's totally seeing your life in a new way. I have no words. This is complete and utter change, and making sure you have seen this in a new way from a new perspective as you move forward. This tree is gateway. This represents this gateway here. The stars are the gateway to everything. If you don't start to manifest on this significator, your hopes and dreams, the expansion doesn't come, the emergence doesn't come, the culmination doesn't come, the revolution doesn't come. So this whole thing is the gateway to profound change. One of the ways, very practical ways you make this change, and that's a question that people ask me in counseling. How do I, on a day-to-day, practical, third-dimensional level, make change? Well, this card is called Soul Writing. And this is about an angel going through perspectives. These are Merkabahs. Spirit wants you to see yourself as the angel who moves up through your soul line, looking back on your choices and the stories that we tell. We create a life. We manifest the life by the stories that we tell, because these stories are limiting, particularly if we rehash over and over again what happened to us in the past as a means of justifying where we are now. And that's usually in stuckness. We don't feel we can move forward. So there has to be a forgiveness of all these things and a rewriting of how we talk about ourselves and see ourselves. Shamanically, the shamans and the ancestors are asking us to acknowledge that we've come to a crossing. We must cross. We cross that bridge. It's an initiation. And this initiation comes from changing the perspective that we have and rewriting. So we're having a shamanic initiation to bring us through with strength to the expansion, using our hopes and dreams for emergence and culmination. The goddess that is in this reading is Kali. She is the mother of the universe. She says, I release all that doesn't serve me. It's time to be the truth of who I am. So she wants you to release the stories that you've been telling about yourself and the justification for staying locked and stuck. It requires strength to say, I will move on from this. I am not that thing. And here is justice, pure justice. I couldn't even begin to say the name of this goddess, but she has her lion, she is blinded, she has a sword and the scales in the traditional manner. Justice is the expanded form of the universe. And I'm going to read you what this means. It's justice, it's equilibrium. This card expresses in the spiritual world absolute justice. In the intellectual world, attraction and repulsion. In the physical world, relative justice, fallible and limited, which comes from humans. Remember then, Son of Earth, that to be victorious over thyself and dominate obstacles is but a part of the human task. To accomplish it entirely, you must establish equilibrium between the forces that thou hast brought into play. All action produces reaction. So here is exactly the flexibility and the balance. If you think of this card in Rider-Waite, it's a juggler standing on one foot, juggling two pentacles. This is the balance that is required for the equilibrium and the justice. In terms of this card here, the messenger, we had this last week. The messenger is information coming to you through the downloads, because while this is soul writing, this line of energy goes up for perspective, information downloads onto this to be received by us. Once you've had your crossing, your initiation, and your emergence, and the revolution, you receive messages. And the messages and the messenger is another word for angel, as I believe I spoke in a recent video. All angels are messengers, and so you will be receiving divine messages about the next stage that your soul already knows about, but we in this human form have forgotten. And finally, the totem is deer, and it's depicted here as a stag, and it's an old story about Artemis, and she is often depicted with deer and stags, because for Artemis, who abhorred violence, she saw them as power. Stags are associated in many cultures, Norse mythology, North American indigenous mythology. Many cultures and countries have the stag in their emblems, in heraldic emblems, sure, in Britain. But we sometimes think of deer as gentle and withdrawn, but not in this particular card. This talks about power. Power and discernment and the ability to move forward. So that power goes with the strength, it goes with the balance and equilibrium, and it goes with this revolution. I really have no other words for this. I have to sit and think on this. I welcome your comments down below. I always love it when we can engage in discussion. If you liked this, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you'd like to get more videos, a notification of videos. I welcome a contribution to coffee. It allows us to keep doing this. There's no income from this. And we started this at the beginning of the pandemic to keep connected with our community when we couldn't see them. And I like to keep continuing. So your financial support is really important to us at this crossroads. We're at a crossroads, in fact. So, miigwech, niawen, have a wonderful week and weekend with your families, and be well. Aho.